Hey guys, it's your host of the chomp Daily again. Hope you guys are doing well. I know I've been gone for a while, and I do apologize for that. Just because I've just been trying to get stuff settled with the channel. I'm paying someone to get me a new intro and outro. I'm paying someone to help me with the screen and intro and outro, and waiting times for the Twitch. And I'm bringing a whole bunch of new series. I've sat down, I've been looking at a whole bunch of series I want to do, and one of them is going to be Pokémon. So I wanted to officially announce to you guys, I am going to be bringing Pokémon to this channel. We'll have a big series about it, about me becoming a gym leader within the server I'm in. I have a big group of friends that I'm using it with. And if you guys are interested, you guys can even join in, or if you guys want, the specific type of Pokémon, mods that we do in our shaders, let us know, and I'll definitely hand them out to you. I will also be announcing that we will be getting a Discord here soon. That one will take a little bit of time, but with that being said, I do apologize for being gone. Just with work and exams coming up within the next month, it's been hefty. So I've made these series so I can inform you guys, hey, I am indeed going to be posting, if not every day, if not every other day. Like, I'll be doing between the two of those. So please look forward to that, because I know I truly am. But with that being said, let's just get into it today. I wanted to start off with some actual, some pretty good, I don't want to say it's pretty good news, but something that's kind of juicy, something that has the tea. And the tea is really, Nintendo's at it again with suing. And shutting down people. And again, I'm usually not against it if they deserve it. Like, when it came to Pal World, I'm actually not a big fan of Pal World. I don't feel that the notoriety it got was justified. I feel that Pal World was really, the only reason why it was popular because it was questioning Pokemon. But again, I don't hate people that play Pal World. I'm not saying that it wasn't like a good game, but Pokemon's better. I mean, it really is. But Pal World, people that did like it, and hate Pokemon because of it are, that's just what I try to avoid. I try just being unbiased. I see why people could like it. I see why people could not. I don't like it personally. It's too much like Pokemon. It's too weird, but that's besides the point. But the reason why this is relevant is because even though this isn't about Pal World, it's another crazy lawsuit that Nintendo's going for. Now, even though I defend Pokemon and Nintendo, it's something that, how can I put it? There's a love-hate relationship with how they handle outside influence in games. As someone that grew up with Roblox, there's a Roblox game that's no longer existent called Project Pokémon. And I know that they've tried bringing it back a couple times, but Project Pokémon is just part of my childhood. When I saw it got shut down in like 2018, I believe, I forget, it really tore me up because with a lot of us, we grew up with that, and it was quite a big moment. But this time, I'm on Nintendo's side. I think that they're going a little bit aggressive. But Central Leaks comes with us today saying that Nintendo has filed a subpoena to force Discord to hand over the details of the Game Freak hacker who has the source of last year's Terra leak. If Nintendo finds the person or people involved, they will likely face jailing time. So this is where I come in with my opinion real quick. Just don't do this. A lot of people, I'm not saying that you guys, because you guys are awesome, but for people out there, some of you guys are just too comfortable. You have to understand something. I understand that this is a multi-billion-dollar company. This is a huge company. But it doesn't mean that their assets and their games and stuff shouldn't be respected. Just because they are very, very rich does not mean they do not deserve the respect everyone else does. And usually I have pretty moderate views. Like, I'm pretty within the middle when it comes to stuff like that. But I will defend a company if it's something like this. Because when you do stuff like this, you hurt the community. You don't go ahead and, help people by leaking shit. No, you don't. You make it harder on everyone else. Because now Nintendo will postpone things for a little bit of a later date. and then they'll stop leaking as much. And a lot of people believe that the main reason why Legends ZA hasn't had as many I can't even talk. I apologize. Good Lord, hasn't had as much exposure, which I do apologize for my inability to speak. But the main reason why Pokemon hasn't exposed too much of Legends ZA is, I believe, because of stuff like this. Because when you leak stuff like Legends ZA to the community under your own willpower, people will try to dig and they'll start finding stuff that they don't belong into discovering. You know, like stuff that just isn't their business. And some people will argue that, you know, who are they? Well, I can ask you the same thing. Who are you guys to come in here and ruin everyone else's fun? Who are you to come in here and just make it harder on the company to keep their assets safe? The reason why they just don't let everyone know everything is because they want it to be a surprise. And maybe there's stuff within those leaks that isn't finished. And if they leak it early, people will be like, oh wow, this really isn't a good idea. When in general, maybe Pokemon was going to get rid of it. I mean, I genuinely believe the main reason why Game Freak and Nintendo have explicitly been so stingy with it, you know, just leaking stuff, is because of stuff like this. Because people do not know how to keep their hands to themselves and keep their eyeballs away from stuff that doesn't belong to them. And, you know, some people may not agree with me, but I'm sorry, but no one is entitled to their assets. Not you, not me, not anybody. And the simple fact that these people think that they can hack in to Game Freak stuff and take all their leaks, from the game leaks to designs, to future designs, future plans, the meshes for, you know, the skins for the Pokemon from that and everything. The fact that they're taking that and doing it so nonchalantly, showing people, it just really pisses me off, actually. And I hate to be that way. And I don't like making a video to where I'm angry, but I kind of am. Because it's you guys, not you guys, but, you know, the people that I'm talking to that are doing this. It's you hackers and you know, a little bit more intrusive leakers, which again, I like to, you know, show stuff that's possibly leaked. I like going to people that supposedly leak stuff, but they don't usually leak anything that's, like, you know, incriminating. You guys that are hacking and doing stuff like this, it is incriminating. And honestly, I hope Nintendo finds who you are, and I hope you face some type of penalty. I don't know if they should face jail time. I don't really agree with that, but again, I'm quite liberal in that mindset. I'm not like saying like I'm like a full-on liberal, but I feel that like maybe jail time's a little bit too harsh. But you definitely need to be fined and stuff, and you know, just be punished, because this isn't cool. Like, again, like I said, I understand that they are a multi-billion-dollar company, but that's not an excuse to not respect their assets. Because you not respecting their assets because of the money that they make is very selfish and very entitled. And that's the reason why people don't take a lot of us in our younger generation seriously. Because a lot of people in our generation that are entitled as hell. And I hate saying that, because I like to joke on boomers and all these millennials for being just arrogant and just out of touch, but I can't ignore the fact that there's members of our community that are just entitled and just think that they rule the world, and they really don't. And, you know, I don't know the full reasoning to why someone would do this. But as we, you know, just go on to other posts here from Nicole Carpenter, you know, Nintendo's going after the leaker behind major Pokemon Terra leak, and, you know, she just goes over just the entire court case, you know, and like Nintendo's is asked. So, for example, this is where it all starts. You know, I really want to get to the part of it here to where this all starts, and then we can do our quick analysis after. So, basically, it starts off, you know, with Nintendo's asking California, their court, to, you know, force Discord to give up the identity of the person behind last year's massive Pokemon data breach among the Pokemon community as the Terra leak. It's called the Terra leak because of just how much information was released, blah, blah, blah. The leaker claimed to have source code for upcoming game Pokemon Legends ZA, though they did not release it, as well as next generation Pokemon titles, builds, or older games, and loads of concept arts and lore. And see, this is what I mean. This is why Pokemon doesn't trust us with leaks. Because we do shit like this. And I hate being that guy, but I'm going to be. Y'all need to mind your business. Stop getting into shit that doesn't involve you. Just stop. Just stop. Really, just stop. Nintendo filed its request for subpoena on April 18th in the U.S. District Court of the Northern District of California per the documents obtained by Polygon, seeking the name, address, phone number, and email address of the leaker. The company alleged the declaration... accompanied the subpoena request that a Discord user named Game Freak Out posted the confidential materials not released to the public to a Discord server called Freak Leak. From that Discord, the leak material spread far and wide. Nintendo attempted to take down materials from DMCA requests, but the internet persisted. Let me tell you, once you have something posted on the internet, it's on there forever. I do not care how much you do. Once Game Freak Out posted that, that's going to all corners of the internet. That's probably on the dark web somewhere. It's always archived somewhere. So even though you catch Game Freak Out, the damage done is permanent. And again, and like I said, this is actually the exact reason why Pokemon's so hush-hush with their new titles, because they can't trust us. And I find that really shitty. Because a lot of us now that are in the Pokemon community, we're grown adults. A lot of us grew up with this. There's a huge, hefty portion of the Pokemon community that are adults. And the fact that Nintendo can't trust us is kind of sad. I mean, really. That just goes to show you how messed up we are. The purpose of the subpoena is to obtain the identity of the Discord user Game Freak Out, who posted infringing content. Now, I do want to say this. Even though I'm quite angry at this person for doing what they did, I do not believe that they deserve jail time. And maybe you guys did disagree. And if you believe that they do, that's fine. You know, I'm not saying that if you believe that they should, that you're wrong, because you're not. But for me personally, I think it's just one of those things to where when you are a company, you should honestly be wary of stuff like this happening. Now, this does not mean that, you know, that they should suck it up, because no, they shouldn't. We should know better as a community. But we should be able to at least understand as a company, you know what, we are going to sue this guy, we're going to get money out of him, and we're just going to, you know, just go on with our business, use the money that we took, and use it for our own assets, you know, to help compensate. Because jail time isn't really going to do much. You know, I'm sorry, but because once he gets out, he's going to do it again. You know, and I'm sorry that if someone disagrees with this, but I'm just not into the whole idea of putting this person in jail. But if they do, I'm not going to be angry. Like, oh well, you know, if they find out who this is and they put him in jail, I'm not going to like be angry. Like, I'm going to understand it. But I personally wouldn't. You know, I'd slap a hefty fine on them, make them pay it. You know, I'll sue you out a bunch of your money, and I'll use that for my own company. You know, just how I would do it. Just because I don't feel that it's going to do much putting him in jail. Now, when we look back on this, the Pokemon leaks were published on October 12th of 2024. The Game Freak announced in a statement on October 10, before the information was released, that it had been hacked. In statement, Game Freak said that the breach impacted employee information, but did not confirm the confidential game information had been stolen. Now, if we find out that this person has been leaking employee information, then this guy does need to be locked up. But from what I heard, that's not the case. It's just purely the game stuff and just assets, which still sucks, but I don't think there needs to be a jailing. But if this person's like leaking employee information or has employee information on them, then they need to be handled with prison time. You know, put that person in prison, honestly. Because that is different. Because when you're going after people's personal information, that's a different story. And I didn't even know about that one. I just knew about the assets being taken. Like that's all that I knew. But no, as we would go on, subpoenas like this do not necessarily indicate forthcoming lawsuit, though it seems likely Nintendo will take the leaker to court. The company has done that before, especially with when the photos of Pokemon Sword and Shield strategy guide were distributed distributed online. Good lord. Given the materials that the leaker said that they obtained, like an early version of the upcoming Pokemon Legends ZA game, Nintendo would surely appreciate having the court's backing to prevent that data from leaking, which is quite valid. And this is another one. It's really just going over the same stuff. But with this being said, Nintendo, issued the DMCA takedown notices in an attempt to remove the stolen data, which again, that's not going to happen. Like, I wanted to hit on this. Once it's on the internet, it is gone. It's gone from your grasp. Like, it's always going to be on there. But again, Gary Bowser, for example. So again, there's a person named Gary Bowser. We'll get into this here in a second. For example, was arrested on federal charges of fraud for his part in creating and selling tools to hack video game consoles, including Nintendo Switch, so people could play games on their devices without paying for them. Bowser was released from prison, but owes Nintendo $10 million compensation and has a 25% of his monthly income garnished to pay the settlement. So this guy's most likely never going to recover, because that's a lot of money. He will have that constantly on his record, constantly in his paycheck. And this is what I say, guys. I love it when we get the games that we want, especially when it comes to the older games. But it's not worth hacking. It's not worth giving tools. Sure, so you sending it to a company to open it up and get those games back. Like you could get your like for example, my 3DS is hardwired, which means I sent it to somebody and they basically got me all the old Pokemon games on my 3DS without having to access it. And you shouldn't even do that either, because that's technically not okay. But a lot of people get their games jumped like that, and the consoles jumped. But this guy was selling specific tools to do it. It's a little bit more serious. Still, hacking your console is still illegal. You shouldn't do it. But a lot of people do it. I mean, there's videos online, people doing it for you, so it's not necessarily like any of us are going to get in trouble. But the good thing for me was, even though I had my my console jumped and everything, I already paid for the games, but oddly enough, I had to re-download them, and it wouldn't let me re-download them, even though I paid for them. Like, I had Pokemon Crystal, and Fire Red, Leaf Green, and all that. Well, it wasn't Fire Red, Leaf Green. Sorry, it was Soul Silver and Crystal. But on my original DS, I played Leaf Green, all that on there, and I wanted to see if somehow we can get it onto the 3DS, which obviously it's not on there. But I still played Crystal on it. But I already bought the 3 games. But when I went to go re-download them, it wouldn't let me. So I had to go get my game jump so I can, go ahead and play them again. Just because it wouldn't let me re-download them, even though it said that they could be queued up. Just because with how quickly that they did the shutdown with the internet and just the 3DS shop, it kind of just screwed everything up. So, I still don't recommend doing it, but if you want to, you can. People do it all the time. They have videos on it, and people aren't getting sued for that, because Nintendo has bigger fish to fry. Like, people selling tools to do it. But I'm just showing you guys an example. This is what will happen if you hack. This is what's going to happen if you sell tools to hack. This is what's going to happen if you leak stuff that you're not supposed to. And I hate to be that guy, because I know some people have a very broad view on just really how companies should work. And some people have a very, I want to say naive mindset, but like a very narrow mindset that because of it being a multi-billion-dollar company, we don't have to answer to them, which that's not how it is. And this is all I can say for all of you watching. I hope you guys understand that I'm not defending Nintendo with everything that they've done. I mean, hell, they took away a childhood game called Project Pokémon from Roblox, which is a game that I grew up with and I miss dearly because it was fun. But this isn't that. This is someone currently ruining, just trying to ruin the company, and it's hurting the fan base. I'm sorry, but a lot of us that are saying that We don't need to answer to Nintendo because they're a multi-billion-dollar company. You just need to grow up. I'm sorry, but people out there saying that because they're a multi-billion-dollar company doesn't mean that they deserve respect. Like, I don't like that mindset. They're a billion-dollar company at that. That's true, but they are respectable. Sure, they are not fun when it comes to just people being able to use their old games and having fan games. That's true. But that's because they are protective of their assets. And you know what? That is what it is. You know, I can't even be fully mad at that. Like, I am mad that they took away Project Pokemon and stuff like that. But to just sit here and say that they don't deserve the same respect because they have so much money, that's just really childish and kind of gross. Like, if you have that mindset, that is really gross. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't care if they're a multi-billion-dollar company. That does not mean that you are entitled to their, to their information and their assets. That's just not how that works. And I've seen some people online, like genuine people, saying that people shouldn't be mad over this situation because they're a multi-billion-dollar company, that they can deal with it, they can suck it up. But I hate that mentality. That's just gross. And I'm sorry if you believe that, then you're gross. And I hate to be that guy. But I'm not going to defend you if you are here sympathizing with a hacker that's ruining our chances at new releases. Because all previous games, the leaking of them have gotten smaller and smaller. And it's no coincidence why Pokemon has been so seldom and just showing us teasers instead of showing us big trailers and then releasing the games. They're not letting us in on teasers because we don't deserve them. I mean, if we're going to go ahead and just take all their assets, why take that risk? I'm sorry, but I have to side with Nintendo here, and I hope they find out who it is. If it does find out that they do have employee information, then this guy needs to be booted to prison. Sorry, but personal information, not yours. And also, one thing before we end this video off, you gotta think of something. For those out there that believe that because they're a multi-billion-dollar company that they don't deserve that respect, this person could have personal information of the employees. This person could be leaking that information. So by saying that, you're saying that the hardworking people that are making, just $80,000, $90,000 a year, maybe not even that, you're saying that they're not important because they work for a multi-billion-dollar company. Well, sorry to tell you, but all of us here, for the most part, unless you own your own business, work for a multi-million or billion-dollar company some way or shape or form. Especially with me going in, especially with me being in med school and everything. I'm going to be working for what people call big pharma. Sorry, but you just gotta get over it. And I'm more so mad at the fact of people saying that, if they know that there's personal information at stake here. I'm sorry, I could understand, you having some grief because they're a multi-billion-dollar company, down with the rich, as some of them say, whatever, which I think is childish. But not down with the employees, because these employees have done nothing wrong. They're just there doing their 9 to 5 or whatever their hours are, getting the money, feeding their kids. Leave them out of it. That's all I'm saying is, like, I wanted to give you guys my perspective on this situation, what you should most likely believe in. Just let me know what you guys think down below, because this is something that really hits home for me, just because I think of myself as very compassionate, because I do care about people like that. That's why that's why I am going to become a doctor. That's why I'm in school to become a doctor, because I care about people. And Nintendo and Game Freak, they have their faults. Do not get me wrong, they have their faults. Jesus. But at the same time, they've still brought us games and products that we love and we play the hell out of, and they still care about us. And I think we need to show that same reciprocation here. And as someone that cares about people in general, I just don't want to be part of a community that believes it is okay to leak people's information just because they feel entitled to assets because it's a multi-billion-dollar company. Which, if you think of it and word that out word by word, you can kind of get the weight of how childish that sounds. But that's how these people are. And I'm not saying everyone is, because these hackers are very small. Like they're a very small group of the community, but they impact so much. It's a very small but loud part of the community that unfortunately makes changes. I mean, look at Gary Bowser. He's part of our community, and he was doing just that, selling stuff to hack consoles and stuff. Just be respectful. That's all I'm saying. Be respectful, at least of the people that could have their information leaked. And even if the information isn't leaked, this hacker had access to do so. Like, with how much that they hacked, they had the files to do so. So it was right in their grasp to take if they wanted to, and that's scary. The fact that people's lives are possibly endangered by just a simple grasp. That's just the crazy part of it. So, either way, let me know what you think of this whole entire situation down below. What do you think should happen to the individual if they get caught? I hope they get caught. Do you agree with how I believe this should be handled? Do you have a different idea? Or do you have like another input? Like, do you know something else that I don't? Or something that these articles don't know? Because I definitely love to hear it. Again, as always, be a chomp above the rest. I look forward to showing you guys Cobblemon so we can get something a little bit more lighthearted, not something as formal and just talking about just lawsuits and stuff from Nintendo. But this is something that I really want to get into because it was quite juicy. I'm also just a sucker for the tea, so I was quite interested just to lean my ear in to see, you know what I mean. But I do appreciate you guys for all of the support. I know recently with my videos they've been doing amazing, and it's all because of you. You guys don't understand how much I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to posting more, especially that Cobblemon series I'm going to be doing. So look forward to that probably tomorrow, because I do plan on posting tomorrow or every other day, because I do have a full-on schedule now, because I have all of these series I want to push out. I have a couple others I'm going to do, but for that I want to get started with Cobblemon. So, like I said already, be a chop above the rest. I hope to hear from you guys later. Let's get to 500 subscribers. I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk at you later. See ya.